podcast listeners, if you hear my voice right now, I need you to do something for me. I want you to take out your phone or on your computer, go to Apple Podcasts, search for Ask Your Oldhead Podcast. You'll see my logo, my little picture, my little image there. Find the show. Please rate and write a review. It's a small thing, but it helps others find this work and find what I'm doing here. And it really, really matters, as small as that may seem. So if you could please do that before we get into the show, I very much appreciate it. Thank you for listening. Let's get into it. Peace. And then I'm go. Peace. I'm a Jeff.
My man, what's happening, sir?
What's happening, man? So, it is the end, and not that we couldn't record something else, but this will probably be the last recording we do together for 20, and that at least I'm going to release it in 2020. So I thought it might be appropriate to do a kind of awards, so to speak, a recognition of some of the things that have happened this year. However they sit, good, bad, or indifferent, and I don't got no title for them, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I guess you tapped right in, you can think about it sort of like the Dundies, you know what I'm saying, of sorts, although these don't need to be personal.
nor socially awkward and negatively engaging to people that are in the room.
Exactly. And so, I'll start with one, and it's like what I call it, the You Win Award.
Okay.
You win. You know what I mean? And that award goes to COVID. COVID, you win. You got it. We just stay at home. You know what I'm saying? And altered the shape of national existence in a way that I've never experienced. And at some point it's like there's days where it'd be like, yeah, I'm about to leave the house. And they'd be like, you know what? Nah, I'm not. I'm just going to stay inside. And I'm happy and fortunate and all of the things that go along would allow me to be able to do that. You know what I mean? But in a very real way, it's like, if I think you can't say nothing about the shape of this year and not talk about COVID. So I just wanted to get that one out the way.
Yeah.
COVID has reshaped our circumstance. You know what I mean? I guess some people could say our response to COVID. You know what I mean? But the reality is, it's for most of us, that if you didn't live in the 20s or 30s, you ain't never seen a real global pandemic. Like
right.
in America, I guess you can say. I know some other parts of the world have had these different springs of epidemic, disease or illness. But yeah, nothing as protracted as this has been, with all of the other, realities and factors. You know what I'm saying? COVID, I tip hat as a, viral organism. You know what I'm saying? You are the winner. Like you got what you wanted, which was to stay alive at all costs. And so,
And listen, COVID is the Diddy of 2020. Every time you think that they didn't stop, they do something else. They redefine themselves. They go somewhere else. Like it's like the last dance to last train to Paris he did. Like who the hell would have thought that would have kept it relevant? Yeah, COVID has pulled the Diddy on 2020. Yeah, man. I mean, about that award, all I can say is when I've been reduced to going to the supermarket, and that's passed as the actual way to get out. That's like, oh man, you know what? I'm about to go to the supermarket. About to get some coconut water.
Be reading the packages like, oh man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that only had 5 ingredients.
Yeah, man, outside.
Wait a minute, that don't got swine in it? I always thought that had swine in it.
Man, and that is literally so okay. To a twist on that, to the Forever Resilient Award goes to Swiss Beats and Timberland. This is AKA Black People Will Always Find a Way to Party Award. because the idea of verses. I mean, obviously we know it's rooted in sound clashes and that kind of stuff. But like literally creating something that still found a way to build community in a pandemic, and turn it into something beyond everyone's wildest thoughts. Right? I mean, it also shows you that the opportunities to pivot are always around you. Because if you would have told me that we would have ended up watching Gucci and Jeezy on TV talking about I smoked your homie, roll up his body so I can smoke it again, and it made millions of dollars. I would have told you you was a damn lie. So, so then my award for Forever Resilient, aka Black People Always Know How to Find a Party, is Swiss and Tim.
All right. So the next one I got is I'm glad I watched that award, which could go for a couple things, but I've been sitting thinking about like what and I'm not good with picking one thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's the thing that I think is my favorite. Right. I struggle with that, but I like making tiers. But and I'm going to revisit some of these. But one that we talked about, I would say, was still black as fuck. I enjoy it. I'm glad I watched that. I just watched Heat, the movie, 1995 again for the first time in a while after trying to find somewhere to watch it because I was like, I like that movie, but I haven't been able to find it to watch it.
Right.
And I had to buy it, and I've been the source of ridicule for purchasing it. That's all right. I buy it again. You know what I'm saying? Just as the world know. I got $14 of coins over here. I can do that. Nah, but it was fully worth it, and I'm gonna watch it 3 more times so I get my value out.
Yeah, I was about to say you probably do got to watch it a couple more times to feel like you.
And but yeah, man, like it was that in terms of a throwback. The Mandalorian, I had a great time with the Mandalorian. I don't know if you're down with the Mandalorian or not. We haven't really talked about
so that. I just want to say this about the entire Star Wars. The Star Wars catalog is like, I don't know, master. It's like no limit. I feel like it's like Gucci's. Like, how many movies are there? What do I have to watch to understand the other movie? And it starts to become this really interesting group of people who understand how the order of this goes in ways that I'm just like, yo, dog, listen, man. Maybe I use my brain for some other stuff during this week. I can't follow where the Mandalorian kicks into these 22 movies. But by all accounts, it appears to be a really good movie from all the Star Wars people that I may follow on social media.
Yeah. Well, it's a show more. It's like a series.
Oh, okay.
It's like 8 episodes of the first season, 8 episodes of the second season. You know what I'm saying? But it takes place within, the greater Star Wars universe. Tips hat to Jon Favreau and everybody else involved with that for the single-handedly saving the Star Wars universe.
So hold up, so Jon Favreau, the same Jon Favreau did Elf? Yep. Did Elf, the Mandalorian?
Chef? You ever see The Chef?
Yeah. I was watching this chef. I was watching this chef show on Netflix.
Yeah, saying that guy. He's the Mandalorian guy.
Man, he got some chops.
He's out here, man. He's out here chopping stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Well, so I'm glad. I would say, and I would attach, even though I haven't watched, I've watched pieces of the verses. You know what I'm saying? The verses were part of that. You know what I'm saying? Things that like I said, when this all started, I was under the impression that I would probably watch a lot more TV than I thought I would, and then I found that I haven't actually watched as much stuff as maybe probably some other people. I'm sure some people stop watching stuff. But these stories, programs, allow one to be entertained, but also think, through the year. I wanted, the Anelka joint. I'm about to watch this about, our the man's down in Argentina.
Oh, Diego Maradona.
Maradona's on because
Yeah.
I started watching it and I thought, I gotta pay attention. I can't watch this and like be flea flamming. So I might get that in before the year is out. But yeah, so that's my homage to that.
All right, understood. So in my "You Had One Job" award goes to Donald J. Trump. And the subtext of this award is federal government matters. So as the world's gotten closer, we've gotten closer to the end of the year, we realize how much of a maniac he is. Like we've actually watching a man become unhinged in the White House. And I think we just ignore it. I don't know if we ignore it or we've been so used to seeing it that we don't give it as much of attention. But like he's pardoning criminals right and left. Mm-hmm. He's destroying deals that he cut. He's looking to veto shit that like throws the federal government into chaos. Like you had one job, which is I knew that you was the last white man before you got there. You were the last person, the citadel of defending insanity, right? Okay, that's fine. But like where you took this is a whole nother place. And actually, I mean, I think we're like hundreds of thousands of people above any other country in the world, right? Like people actually died because he was a bad president. And I think we talk about war sometimes and we'll be like, okay, well, this government sent these boys or these people now, we say, men and women or people to die in war, right? Like, no, he actually has resulted in the federal government's response that actually resulted in people dying. Like, dog, you had one job, which was to keep the republic safe, and you had failed miserably. So, yeah. Yeah, you had the one job award goes to none other. And I think I might have said this on here. I often reflect when, as a young person, my Uncle Blue took me and Jomo down to play tennis in Atlantic City. Mm-hmm. We used to play tennis at Johnny Sample tennis tournaments, and we used to like stay at the Trump Plaza. And I think about like in 88, 89, how I saw this person as like the dude that had the nicest hotel, and you could look outside and see the ocean, and you could eat, and and now he's an absolute maniac in his last days, kicking and screaming. That reduced America to third world countries when it comes to governance. So I guess you never know how shit's going to end. That's my point there. So
yeah. So I would like to second, or I don't know if that's a part of the process. I'd like to send in a late ballot. Because the thing that as this has been happening, and I'm watching and I'm like, yo, I mean, I guess the ancillary prize, like the double down, whose man's is this? Or it goes to his man, Giuliani.
Oh, right? Yeah, where it's
like, yo, but the bold-faced nature of just like, yo, I mean, we know his rules and all that, y'all, but like we only really into these rules if they help us do what we want to do. Like when the rules ain't helping us do what we want to do, like even the idea that a sitting president would have a meeting in the White House or somewhere where they threw around the idea of like, well, I mean, what are my options if I really don't want to leave?
Right.
Like, just any study of U.S. history and the sitting president having that conversation in any way that anyone would know they had that conversation,
right?
Not like him and one aide, right? Like him and his chief of staff, just them two.
It's Nixonian. No, it's Nixonian. Right. Like it's been nothing since Nixon that even begins to touch what has happened here. And that's my point about like America has always depended upon this idea of like a top tier governance. Mm-hmm. This is third world level governance.
So yeah, man, like you the sitting president of the United States of America, man. You someone in the Secret Service should like throat chop you if you have a public conversation where you're like, well, what are my options if I really don't want to leave office? like die, like
right.
be killed by the security force.
It shows you how, like, again, I mean, and this is actually a part of one of my awards. I'm gonna kind of condense into this. This just shows you the civic infrastructure that is at zero, right? Because part of it is that for the pursuit of interests and people's disconnect from government means you can just do shit like this, right? Like everyone's like the norms of government, and it just shows you 70 million people did not care that he flouted every norm of a president, right? Like 70 million. Now, even if I assume all 70 million of them aren't morons, right? Let me assume that at least half of them are somewhat rational people from time to time. Mm-hmm. That means 35 million people are rational, but will allow it, but would rather have a moron because it serves their interests.
Yeah.
Which is also a huge part of the civic infrastructure and accompanying the award for COVID.
Yeah.
Because half the reason that so many people are sick and so many people are going through what they've gone through is the fact that people are like, man, I hear you and what you're going through, but I'm going to Aruba. You know what I mean? Like, so it's part of the same dialogue that gives birth to, the fact that 70 million people vote for him is how you get there.
Yeah. And it's perplexing. It's not totally perplexing. Like, I understand it, and in a sense, I guess it's disappointing.
Right.
In the twists and turns of things, and it's like, I mean, it's like you live for the amount of places in my personal and professional life where someone will talk about the importance of leadership and this and that and the other thing, and then to constantly have these circumstances where people are ostensibly leadership and they're fully like, yo, you're terrible, like that's not good. But then there's always somebody that's like, well, the circumstances and people feel like people are bullying him. I'm like, you can't bully the president, dog.
Right.
He's the president. He's not bullies. You can't bully the president. You're not talking about somebody taking somebody's lunch money in sixth grade. Anyway, right. So it's just absurd, and it gets down to the people want to believe something, they want to believe it. But he definitely. I just wanted to send in my ballot and make sure it was noted that I signed on to the you had one job, man, which was to be an effective leader. I don't even gotta like your politics, but I can respect if you actually make sure stuff run properly. That some piece of logic and like deliberative process informs decisions. I can wrestle with that when it's clear that all decisions are like, yo, whatever it is I want is the motivating factor. And then everybody's down with me is like, yeah, dog, same thing with me. I'm just about what I want. It's absurd. So I guess it's me because I kind of jumped on.
Yep, you go.
So I sat with this one for a while, and I'll do this one now because I want to try to get some of the more sad things out the way. And I call this the I Wanted to Be Wrong Award. Okay. And this is going back as simply as the continued death and loss of life of Black men and Black people at the hands of law enforcement. At the midpoint of the year, and we had a couple different episodes talking about it, and I remember my words that, you can put this stuff on the clock if you're paying attention. And unfortunately, I was not wrong. There have been I didn't have time. I did not want to sit with that grimness at the moment. But I mean, even as early as was it last night or 2 nights ago in Columbus or 3 nights ago, second Black man in Columbus in the last 30 days.
Right.
Like, for anybody that thinks that there's no broader structural conversation to be had. I just ask you if it's this predictable, it means that it's deeply embedded in different parts of the inputs that make the thing go. And therefore, if you want it to stop, that's where we got to start. So I wanted to be wrong on that, but I'm not wrong. And I'm disappointed and I'm sad. And, much love and respects to all the families that are wrestling, with the loss of their loved one. So.
No, that's that was pretty deep, Jess. I gotta tell you, that was pretty.
Yeah, I didn't have no fun way to do that, so I just wanted to
that was like the end of Meet the Press or something. So you can't beat Father Time, but he's giving him a hell of a run award. Goes to LeBron James, and second place, and that is Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now interestingly enough, I saw Callum Cowherd on Fox Sports guy.
Mm-hmm.
He usually have counterculture, kind of classic perspectives of sports.
Yeah.
And he was explaining from his perspective what's happening to Ben Roethlisberger. Now, this is the part where everyone in Pittsburgh listens and gets upset and says, I'm mad because their team has 6 rings and my team doesn't. Which doesn't matter because the Raiders moved to Vegas and I won't ever watch them again. So don't worry about that. So I will not be affected by that thing of you just want your team to be like my team. Because I actually don't. The Raiders are the Raiders. So, or they were the Raiders before they moved to Vegas anyway. So he talked about how the reason that the Steelers are losing right now is because Ben Roethlisberger's body is breaking down in front of us. And he was saying that what makes LeBron James and Tom Brady is that they put approximately $1 million a year into their bodies alone. And Ben Roethlisberger doesn't. And this was his words, not mine. Ben Roethlisberger's idea of a good summer was yoga, a beer, and hanging out with friends. So after surgery, you come back and, if you're not in shape and not fit, your body isn't the same. So his premise was that Ben Roethlisberger was a 13-game quarterback instead of being a 19-game quarterback this year. I thought it was pretty compelling. The corollary to that is LeBron James is 36 years old. Yeah. And he was obviously the best player in the league last year.
Yep.
Right? And I mean, we talk about Giannis, and I like him, but Giannis feels like Adrian Dantley, and he feels like the person that's always really good but doesn't win. So, yes, he might have been the most valuable player to his team, but in my estimation, he is not the most valuable player in the league.
Yeah.
Right? No, he's not the most valuable player in the league. He's the most valuable player to his team because without his team, they could be beat by Arizona or the Delaware 87ers in the G League. Yeah, I mean, this guy, this deep in the league, the vast majority of players in the league have idolized him growing up. I think that Luka Doncic was 10. When
right.
You know what I mean? One of the best players was literally a kid when LeBron James started playing. And now, you're playing with him. So, and Tom Brady today, even though people talk about him today, he had 4 or 5 touchdowns in a half down there in Tampa Bay. So the whole Father Time is undefeated, but you're getting them a hell of a run for the money is definitely both of them too. Conversely, I feel like this season, them winning last year is going to have the negative impact on their team this year to be able to compete again, right?
Mm-hmm.
because he is an old man now. Anybody over 35, you start feeling like an old person. Something starts creaking a little bit. So we'll see how he responds to things creaking a little bit. But yeah, that's my award for them.
I like that. I would just wanted to add on one, like I every time I watched, once I think it was like the third game in the bubble. Oh man, I don't know about the Lakers. I kept thinking, I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't really see nobody beating that dude in 7 games. The people that's available, I don't believe them. Like I looked into my my Justice body language monitor, and I said, none of them people can beat if they can't beat him in 7 games. They can't do it. I don't know. I mean, unless the rest of them dudes just totally fall apart, which happened. Then even the compressed nature of what was happening, I was like, no, the compressed nature of what happened, I think helps him. Like people say, oh, right. They're tired, and I'm like, no, well, actually it is, but also allows to channel the mental focus and the I know exactly what I need to do today, so I can be ready for the next one and the next one and the structure and what I mean, it serves someone who clearly has taken the approach to, and it's throughout his life as a professional athlete, has shown sort of an uncanny level of personal maturity as it pertains to what he actually does for a living.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I don't think that he gets enough credit for people, he clearly gives a damn. Which then people, goes to the criticism of him when at times when things don't go well or, whatever, but he clearly cares and is working on it. And I was just like, yeah, man, and then when AD started, banging 30-foot jumpers off screens and game winners and everything else, and also responded to the, they were, oh yeah, we're gonna find out AD really serious about this. We're gonna get rough with him. And then they got, PJ Tucker got the one game kind of getting rough with him.
Yeah.
He said, hey, PJ, I'm 7 feet tall and can shoot jumpers. I respect everything about you, PJ. You a hard worker. You know what I'm saying? You out here. Serious NBA vet who be a great member of any team. But if it's just you that's going to stop me, yeah, y'all going to lose this series. So going to wrap, because that other man over there, I'm not going to get into your man James Harden, but he ain't got it. And I told people 2 years ago he ain't got it. If he had it, he would have had it.
James Harden gets the, I could have been a rapper award. James Harden clearly wants to be a rapper.
Yeah.
He wants to be a rapper. He just happened to be really good at dribbling a basketball instead of being a rapper. But everything that he does proves that he wants to be a rapper, right? He hangs out with rappers. He gives rappers candy and diamonds. Then he goes to Vegas on jousts. Whenever all his team members are playing somewhere, it sounds like ODB going to the studio when they were trying to record music or something. You know what I mean? He clearly just wants to do something else. And, it shows because he's like one of the people that everybody wants to come to yo, man, you got to open it at your job? Oh, man, I would love to come work with you. And then 6 months later, they're looking for another job.
They're like, yeah, man, I was just looking for something different.
Yeah, this is the thing. You know what I'm saying? No, it ain't about me and you, a.k.a. it is really about me and you.
It's totally about us. Russ was like, get me out of here.
Yeah, you got Chris Paul.
My mans and all that.
He out of here. Because you want to be a rapper. You don't want to be a basketball player. And you came back looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah.
Everybody else is working out. Everyone else recognized the nature of this game in the closing window. And you were in Vegas eating shrimp and lobster overlooking, the Luxor or something. So, yeah, James Harden, as an add-on, James Harden gets my, I really want to be a rapper award. Watch me spit these bars award.
Right. One other thing I add on to, I call them the old man quarterbacks. I've been teasing Freedom about this, especially if the Steelers kept winning. I was like, I told him against the season, for all, including Tom, all the old man quarterbacks, this ain't going to end the way you think it's going to end. like this, like it's gonna be a good ride, and oh man, look, he still got it. And I'm like, Patrick Mahomes is gonna take your heart out and eat it like Kalima in a culturally insensitive manner that occurred in the damn Indiana Jones. Like this ain't gonna work out. Like I'm looking at what you're doing, and none of it strikes me in any way to convince me that if you have to win, that you are. Now maybe he get hurt, maybe they get hurt or something, and it falls apart. But I don't see it. And then that maybe 5 games in with the Steelers, just to all my Steelers fans, one love, I got love for y'all, you know what I'm saying? But I looked and realized how many short passes he was throwing. I was like, this is a wrap. This ain't gonna work out. It's too many times when they should have ran up the middle that you're throwing a 3-yard out. This ain't gonna end well. Now they're gonna snap out. They're gonna get together, get in the playoffs. Maybe they'll get to the AFC Championship game. But I would say this and I'll say this just as Giants fan who has no love lost for the great Eli Manning, and anybody got a problem with it, I'll meet you in the street. We can talk about it. You know what I'm saying? My man Eli. But I didn't watch a whole season, that really, really bad season, because I was boycotting. I didn't watch anything. I didn't even know the Eagles was about to go to the Super Bowl until the last minute. They're like, I was like, oh shit, the Eagles? Get out of here. So but I watched the season after that, and it you ever when an older dude gets a really Eli always wasn't decent shape and good shape, but it was clear that he got even in better shape. Yeah, but it wasn't. It was the magic was gone. You know what I'm saying? Just what I mean. Time comes for us all, and but hey, man, I would definitely say. On his best days, I wouldn't, today, yeah, they was cooking. You know what I mean? I just know that other time that's looks a little frustrated, gets a little glassy eyed, damn it, I used to hit those face.
Yeah, no, he's one of them people. He's probably in his own head more than he is in the possibilities of doing the thing. To your point, because it's almost like you might be a victim of your own greatness. You remember, oh man, 2007. I killed that pass. Shit. Right. Whose fault is this?
Did I do that?
Yeah. Right. Are you kidding me? We didn't score here. No, you didn't score, Tom. But my thing is, especially in the NFC, can you string together something at the end of the season? I mean, you have literally probably in Gronk, AB, Mike Evans. I mean, you just have literally probably the best receiving core by far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and it's also one of those kind of Bruce Arians. It's kind of like one of those okay, we really get to have this conversation about Bruce Arians coaching. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Very similar to my man in Kansas City that was in Philly.
Yeah,
Andy Reid. We had a kind of, okay, what's up with Andy Reid? And then you put him with one of the best quarterbacks we've seen, and then we said, okay, you're okay.
So Andy's doing the same stuff. It's working out this time.
Yeah, it's just working out because you got a gunslinger.
And the only thing else I would add to close out on LeBron and I've been an advocate of this for a long time. But one, there's two things. There's a scenario under which they might win the title again this year, and then, probably not next year. But I could actually totally see him winning again. You know what I mean? Which definitely tips the whole LeBron conversation into an interesting place. You know what I'm saying? Just in terms of there's children that have been born that, as far as they're concerned, the NBA Finals is the LeBron James TV show, where LeBron James plays the new other team, whoever that might be, and that has to account for something. So, in any event, so moving on to another one that I'll call a fun one, and I'm gonna go ahead and break this one out now, and it's what I call the Comeback Player of the Year award, and that award goes to my hair, and I guess that's me, but COVID and the circumstances of the reality, and also I was curious if brother, you never know. At some point, once you cut your hair off, if your hair is still growing and flowing, right? And Pete got.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, make sure I didn't lose you. All right, so the the phase one was like, well, my hair got to the length where I got a barber's access in April. I either got to twist this up and start working on it, or I got to do some kind of home cut my hair off thing. And I said, I'm gonna go in and see what happens.
Yeah.
So, and I would say, it's not my hair is not exactly, I guess, as it was when I was 20. You know what I mean? However, you know what I'm saying? It's largely
exactly as it was when we were 20, but we can't let that stop us.
Yeah, can't let it stop you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm shaking them on. By the time summer come around, I'm gonna be flipping my hair out my eyeballs. You know what I'm saying? So I can have my cold beer, hopefully in a someplace outside where you could do that.
Right. Someplace where we can have cold beer outside and talk to other people in a relative proximity.
They'll be very happy about everything that's happening with my flowing locks, as it were. You know what I'm saying? So props to me and shit. You know what I'm saying? Pat my own self on the back. Good job, Jeff. Way to get my biotin. Was it biotin and my vitamin D? My vitamin D ain't got nothing to do with your hair, but I ate a lot of vitamin D. But I'm gonna come back to that in a minute.
Oh well, you're a healthy guy, man. So my award for I expect to see you around for a long. That I expect to see you for a long time award goes to masks. Yeah. I often used to think when I would get on airplanes, relatively recently, and I would see folks coming in from other countries, usually Asian countries, or folks come, what's going on with this mask, right? And none of us got a mask on but you. And I've come to the reality that whatever you think of the vaccine, whatever you kind of assume, to your point about having a cold beer, people are at least going to walk around with masks on for a long time. So you better get in the match with your suit. You better get in the match with whatever, because you're going to be wearing a mask for a long time. And it's going to be strange because it's going to be a place where health-wise people may say you don't have to wear a mask, but like people are still going to want you to wear a mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's going to be an interesting engagement of again, civic relationships of how we deal with that. When could you please wear a mask? Well, CDC didn't say we had to wear masks. Yes, but we're trying to keep everybody safe in here, and you might have COVID. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be weird. So everybody just get you a mask that you like, or a couple, and please change the filter, or turn it around, do something, because when y'all eat them Cool Ranch Doritos chips, and mix that with beer, makes a toxic chemical. Some orange juice and toothpaste.
Out.
So yeah.
Well, I'm gonna call it how would we frame this? Like, trying to think of the best way to frame this one, because it's sort of like the Boy I Miss You award. Was it I'd rather be with you award for outside. I want to go outside so bad. I just want to go meet up with people. Hey, man, we're just gonna meet up, walk around next to each other in close proximity, and talk shit. I want to finish our trip to Houston. I want to go to California. I want to get across the pond. You know what I'm saying? Get a pint, and a warm pint. I know that's how they do it over there. They do the warm pints. You know
it's definitely cold. They don't be trying to expect like the American cold beer saga is not playing there.
Yeah, I'll take a warm pint, man. Lukewarm pint. Nothing wrong with that. I'll take one. We are social Beans, even some of us that don't, that sometimes struggle with, I never struggle with the love of my fellow, humans, but sometimes y'all get on my nerves a little bit. So I gotta go in the house and not be with the rest of y'all the whole time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I do not look forward to prolonged inability to I want to go see this person, so I'm gonna go see them. You know what I'm saying? Or I want to be at this event, so I'm gonna get to go. And as a good brother here said to me in a conversation, he said, man, sitting at home drinking your own liquor is some bullshit. How's that getting drinks? If I'm drinking my own liquor, I'm not getting drinks. That's just me drinking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, it's cool, do the meet of toast in the air, look at my glass, look at yours, but it ain't the same. It just ain't. You know what I mean? It ain't the same as sitting, with somebody and popping it. You know what I'm saying? And talking about what's happening or sharing, where your life been and what your journey been. It ain't the same. Like I said, it was so many people in the forest outside. I didn't want to go to the forest because it was too many people in the forest. Because that was the place you can be outside in the forest. It's like, oh man, it's like 30 of y'all out here.
Right.
Y'all met the forest up. Go back home. You know what I mean? Some of y'all would have been in the forest anyway. You doubling down. So we miss you outside and we want to come back. You know what I mean? I didn't mean what I said.
Right. The Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. I miss you award.
You gotta understand. Outside, please.
Right, all the time I ignored you. I just wanted to watch TV. I was with other people, but I did not care about you.
I really wanted to play that game. I thought it was gonna be fun. You know what I'm saying? But now I realize I should have been out there with you. So, I'm looking forward to the opportunity as soon as possible. Even if it's still limited engagements, you know what I'm saying? I would look forward to that.
So for me, I guess as an add-on to that one is, the sandwich in a Ziploc sandwich in a Ziploc award goes to happy hours and parties on Zoom. So just as eating a sandwich through a Ziploc, all the stuff is there, but it ain't the same experience. I understand, to your point, where people put music on and want to toast to each other, and it is important from a social norming perspective and a place of belonging, but it is not a reasonable facsimile. I understand why, but we just got to stop acting like that. It's the same. It's not the same, right? And, you never know what somebody's saying or doing. Then they put up their backdrop, and then the backdrop is usually crazy. A big waving American flag or a picture they think is much more flattering than it is. There's a lot going on, man. So, my sandwich in the Ziploc award goes to any kind of social event we're trying to have on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or Blue Jeans or whatever one. I ain't giving none of y'all no props, and, y'all could come and support what we're doing here. So.
That's the craziest thing, too, is people had a picture up and then they'll still forget to hit the mute button or they'll just be moving too damn much so that it don't really work right or they lighting is bad. And I'm like, look, man, you could just turn into a corner or something. Just find a corner, just lay right in there, man. And one love to all y'all people who somehow get super close to your mic. I don't know how y'all do it. Your camera. Right? Like this, you can only see the eyes and the side of their nose or something. I don't know how people get that close to the camera. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if it's I don't know how it works. I just seen enough calls. I'm like, how does your camera work that it's so close to your face? I love to y'all though, man. Stay strong. What else I got here? Well, on the And this will be a quick one. One love to my man Nabri. He gets we keep doing these push-ups together because I love you, doggone it. Award to my man Nabri to say we did join him for a couple episodes, and we will be recording something in the near future. Nabri, I'm waiting. I'm ready when you ready. You know what I'm saying? In the 2021. You know what I mean? But it does the one thing that definitely I would say that embodies and also has been elevated. It has been a personal resurgence of connections with some of different parts of my own brotherhood. You know what I mean, over this year, and maybe not having as much the frequency, but having the depth of conversation with folks, and brothers here and there that I had not. Me and Nabri been doing these push-ups for a while, but so that part particularly not relation to Nabri, but just in the broader sense. I think for everyone becoming aware, I think more people becoming aware how important your relationships are. I don't know if that sticks for everybody. That definitely sticks for me though. So, yeah.
No. So my "It and You Aren't That Deep" award goes to Kyrie Irving. Also known as my fake woke philosopher award. And I get it, man. We people that break everything down to its fundamental compound. But some of the decisions he makes on the fights he want to have are absolutely fascinating to me, on what they mean, what they represent, and how he appears to be kind of making a larger point that really doesn't come across as a larger point. You know what I mean? And, he's also messy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a messy guy. So when you're messy and fake deep, that's the bad category. Because you're going to be messy, you're going to be fake deep. Which one?
Right.
But
pick a team.
You gotta pick it. You got. I mean, I'd rather you not be messy or fake deep. But if you're going to be, you can't be both at the same time because it just complicates everything. So that's my "It and You Aren't That Deep" award.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna just hold fast. I'll come up with some runners up for that one. There's a whole add y'all to the list of. I will. To all my my internet prognosticators, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what is or isn't real. Like I said, sometimes just reading a couple books or thinking about the underlying basic science related to whatever you're about to say sometimes can prevent you from saying something real silly. You know what I mean? That's all I'm, sometimes it's just, water boils at 212 degrees at sea level. You know what I'm saying? That's a physics reality. That ain't got nothing to do with it's not a value judgment. You know what I'm saying? So when you understand that, you incorporate that type of thinking in the way you analyze the world. Sometimes you can ask questions about something you about to state out loud and not be silly. So let me see what else I got, man. You know what? I had something and I lost it now. I'll go to the what I will call the thank you for being a friend. You know what I'm saying? Award. You know what I mean? Which I'm gonna give to my man, Knowledge Divine. And I'm gonna give it to him because over the course of this year, he has, through him being him, I've met other people and made new friends and relationships, within the broader context of our culture. And, wouldn't have happened without him, or wouldn't have been the same. I don't know. I wouldn't have had those meetings, those engagements. And sometimes, the people you already know in your life, when you spend more time together or you get to talk about other things, you have an expansion that you didn't anticipate. And so I want to give him some props. You know what I'm saying, for that. You know what I mean?
No, he's definitely good for that, and making you have the conversation that you may not have wanted to have, but to your point, sometimes you need to have a conversation that you needed to have, and he can help that occur. So, I definitely praises due to God for that.
And then yeah, I got maybe two more.
Okay, I got one more, so you could do So my my last one is actually I guess in the same context of like the good things come out of chaos award goes to COVID and us doing Good Brothers. I think this year has been full of opportunities that have emerged for folks. I mean, in the face of so much stress, of so much pain, reminded of Littlefinger, on Game of Thrones, said chaos be a ladder, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is a great example of chaos being a ladder, of us being able to take this time and then turn that into doing something and really getting deeper into media and being able to do it with you and continue to take it to, I think, really good, interesting places in 2021. So out of the chaos of being home, out of the chaos of the time, right? The time sometimes we think we don't have, which we do have, we just have to give it to the appropriate things, right? So there's a lesson learned in what that means and what that looks like. And I think that this podcast has shown that to me.
Peace, God. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that one. Well, I'm gonna actually cut it to one, and it's one again on the something that brings me some joy, and I call it the thank you. Reminding us all to be humble award to, I don't know if you ever seen it, brother. I'm trying to find his thing right now, but he's the never forget brother. What's my man? Never forget the brother Love Lee, and he does the joints when he with his, like, he remember when you had on the jelly, the jelly Air Force.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it's always important to me as people, and he does it, in comedy and jest. But when you was coming up, if you ever had that one friend that, like, if somebody was picking on someone or whatever, he would go like, "I remember when your mama, sent you to school with roaches in your lunchbox," and like, you ain't really asked nobody to say that, but like it had to be said because they was being a little bit, they was going a little too far.
Right.
And it's always important, I think, as humans, to be reminded of our ability to fail or to misstep, to make errors. And that, and the positive side of that is that often we get to live and look back and be like, yeah, I was bugging. Yeah, I really did think the pants was fresh. Them was some whack ass pants. You know what I'm saying? Or I thought, and it's easy to look into that and see that with things that are more trivial, but sometimes even the things that are very personal, from the ideas we espouse to the arguments we've started to the fights we've got in, about something. And then later you go, you know what? Yeah, I don't know if that was as serious, like looking at it now with perspective and time as it was. But at that time, I was stone cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, as I've told several people, in light of everything that's happening this year from a health perspective, from a societal perspective, I don't know if this was happening in 1998, if I would have been, I know I would not have been as I still probably would not have seen people as much, just because I didn't know enough about the way science works to be like, yeah, it probably really is a contagious disease. I'm a younger me may have been a party to retweeting, reposting, somebody's half baked idea about the origins of the virus and this and that. And it's good to me to never forget that you're capable of error. You know what I mean? Even if you most of the time, maybe you got a 90% hit rate, but you might have 10 times that you off point. You know what I mean? So just to take that, you know what I mean? You miss one time, it's all right. That don't mean that's you forever. You get to come back. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that, brother. And all the different people, because that's one thing that has helped me with the ups and downs of all of this year, from personal loss to community loss, is remembering to smile, remembering how to be happy, remembering the things that bring you some measure of joy, and most importantly, staying connected, with you, and also staying connected and connecting with others, and the year is the year, but the future is to be made. So what I mean, we're gonna keep going.
So I actually do have one more. Yeah. I guess to add on to that one is last night the DJ Saved My Life Award, and it goes to me. Because self-hate yourself is the only savior. I mean, respectfully to all people with different value systems, but but no, what I mean by that is like in all reality, the process of choosing to engage in health and wellness, and we've talked about it a couple times on the show, but not only had physical impacts, it had a lot of more, frankly, mental impacts and sometimes even physical impacts, right? Mm-hmm. And by doing those type of things that you don't think are big things, you realize later, like, no, they're huge. And just by taking the time to do more for yourself, there's no telling what can actually occur. And so, for me, really taking that time to really be engaged in the process of mental and physical and emotional health, which I think is sometimes missing from a conversation, especially with men, is emotional health. An emotional balance and emotional space of, really trying to just be thoughtful in the best way you can around your emotional engagement, which has so many impacts on your physical and your mental in the way you engage with the world. And for Black men in the conversation about emotions and, the complications of that, I just think running and then broader senses of mindfulness and meditation, along also what clearly was, supreme mathematics and building and things like that, and rigor and discipline, has just brought another level of clarity to my life. And that 2020 really helped me do, again, out of kind of like that chaos, be a ladder, but, thankful to myself using the medium of running and using the medium of meditation and using the medium of mindfulness to kind of lead myself. And then, to whatever degree it provides benefit for those around me, as people engage in that kind of thing from a kind of collective perspective. So.
Indeed. Man, well, you said it, and you said it well, my brother, and I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate that, man.
All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and say, man, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So, peace.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to Good Brothers. Thank you for listening to the Ask Your Oldhead Podcast. This is the last recording of the year. Unfortunately, by the time you hear this, we'll be in the new year. But in any event, I want to thank you for listening, being a part of this creative work by doing what you do on your end, which is listening, sharing, rate if you feel so inclined. But most importantly, man, I want to thank and be thankful for the good things that happen in my life and be appreciative of having the ability to survive, move through, grow, and gain something positive from the rough things that happen in my life. And this year has been so many hard things, harder and rougher things for a lot of people than myself. And so I just want us all to be mindful of that. In the coming year, I got a lot planned. Many Ask Your Oldhead standard interviews, which some of you may be like, man, when Justice going to interview somebody else instead of talking to Majestic. But, man, life as it is, taking life as it comes, sometimes you do what you do. But I got a lot in store for the next year. Interviews, photos, everything. You know what I mean? It's going to be, should be good. So please keep listening. Please keep sharing. Please be safe. Take care of your family and your loved ones. and look out for people that maybe don't have anyone to look out for them. I appreciate you and thank you. Peace.